Sure. Mine might be something that ends up going offline, but um, we're having a meeting. I had someone who registered, they accidentally registered as a non-member. That's not the question. I got that fixed. What I noticed when she forwarded her email that said, hey, you're registered as a non-member, is that the, I think this should be the no fee registration, like preset event email. And it has the name of our registration person, but it has a different email address. Does not belong to that person. And I went and looked at several of the system email drafts, and it seems to just say contact email, which I would assume points to the contact from the event. I'm with the co-op chapter, by the way, Central Ohio, so you can look up the website. And the person that belongs to the email that appears on this is not set up as a contact person for the event. So I am confused as to where the system pulled this email address, put in this email. It's for the general membership meeting. Yep, that one.
And so it is no fee for members and non-members?
Correct. There's several event ones. I looked at several of them, but I figure it's the no fee one that it's sending, because it has language in the email that says there was no fee incurred for this registration. So
and is this what so I don't have the email in front of me. Is this what the email is like? And I believe the subject line would say event registration confirmation, no fee, right?
The subject of the email they forwarded says the title of our group and then event registration confirmation. And it says all the information, and it, this confirms it. Here's the way you registered. Here's where it's at. Then it says there's no fee incurred. And then if you have any questions, contact. And like I say, it has the contact name of a person who is the contact on the event, but it has an email address of our former webmaster, who is not listed as an event contact.
So which name does it have?
Janelle.
Janelle, but it does not have this email.
Correct. It also does not list a phone number, which I would expect it would show, because that draft email has a line for phone numbers.
Okay, so let's see what's in your settings on events.
That's what I'm wondering, is if there's a mass setting that's wrong.
Yeah, there's not a default contact person. This seems to be an oddity. If you could forward that email to us.
Yep, I can do that.
So Janelle is correct. The email is wrong.
Yes.
Okay.
Everything I can find as far as the event and the emails all seems to be right. As in, Janelle is a contact. The other person is not a contact. It's just very confusing as to why it's pulling that address.
Yeah,
so
I
can email you. Yeah. I'm sure it's just a weird ghost in the machine, but
yeah, it would appear to be, but
yeah,
without looking at it a little bit more closely, I wouldn't be able to say for sure, but it appears that way.
Yeah, thanks for looking at it. I will send you an email.
Okay.
So we had started before, so just jump in and say welcome to everyone, just to let you know the procedure here. If you have any questions, just raise your hand so that I can call on you. I don't see any hand. We're a small group this morning. I don't see any hands raised. I don't know if anyone has any questions. Holly, I don't see any. What I will do is jump in and do a public service announcement. Haha. We are offering to all of the chapters a training session, a 1-hour training session or 1-hour info session for your chapter as a group. If you would like some training on the ClubExpress system, an intro for those of you who might be new to the system, or it can be for those that are more experienced. It's really, it's basically to serve a need. So there are a few chapters who have taken advantage of it at this time, but there are quite a few of you that haven't. So we are offering this through end of June. So if you are interested in a training session with Yvonne and Kaylee, just send me an email. I'm Ronnie, and I can send you the form to reserve it. So just to let you know about that. So golly, guys, I don't see any hands, so it just looks like there aren't necessarily any questions. Oh, all right, Donna, thank you. A question from Donna.
Yeah, so a quick follow-up, because I had noticed on your screen when you had highlighted that contact info. I'm sorry, can you go back to place where you were looking at that list of all of the chapters?
Oh, yeah.
See that pop-up, the person listed there as the contact, that is the person that I don't want to be appearing. How do I change that information?
Let's see, that is.
Oh, okay.
Right here.
Okay. And that's, where is that at?
Yeah, but it still should be the contact, event contact info is what should be pulling there though.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
it still seems strange. So that's under control panel, chapter, contact, wait, no, was that name and description? Name and description.
Control panel what? Chapter? Name and description. Thank you.
Yeah, name and description.
Yes. And unfortunately, Veronica has passed away. So I want to make sure that we remove any listings of her because she's obviously no longer in charge of things. So yeah, I happened to notice that when you were showing that screen with the list of all the chapters, and since there weren't any other immediate questions, I just wanted to jump in and ask you. I'll still email you about the meeting thing because that doesn't seem like it would affect that.
Yeah, it shouldn't. It should be taking it from the contact person, but yeah, I'll look at that.
All right, thank you.
And I'm just looking to make sure that Veronica's not listed anywhere else here, and she's not.
I think we've removed her from everywhere else, but thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So if you just joined us, if you have a question, please raise your hand so that we know that you have a question. Latora.
Good morning. I have a question regarding non procurement professionals being able to join, like non-agencies. So we get emails and it will be like and I think it has to do with, we have this reverse trade show and there's a separate link. I'm not in control of that. I work on membership, but we get an email and it's like Bob at XYZ Painting has joined. Is there a way to have, I guess, like an authentication question or something to stop that from happening?
Okay, so let's start with what group are you with?
I'm with Southeast Florida. And I'm gonna find an email.
So just to make sure that we're on the same page, you're saying
Mhm.
that somebody is joining and they're choosing a member category to join, a member type, but they really should not be joining?
Right. So for instance, I got an email on Thursday, April, March 20th, and it says, it's from the it's the automatic email we get. It says a new member joined Southeast Florida chapter of NIGP, and the member is Fanny Marino of Next Generation Environmental Solutions, LLC. So they are not a procurement professional, and um, so I have been asked by the or person who handles the website, like, is there a way that we filter that out and like that person not be able to join?
And what type of membership did they join as? Was it
Oh,
just this
it says
regular?
yeah, it says regular membership.
And they paid the 35? Let's see. So,
I don't
uh,
know if they did. It's Fanny Marino. It says a total charge of 70. So when we get these emails, we respond and send them. Well, I respond to this email, copy that email, and I just say we have a clip of our bylaws that says you have to be a procurement professional, and someone either refunds them if they paid already.
yeah, so you do have it set up that it requires approval. So they should not be allowed to pay until you approve them. So they should be in the system as pending.
Right.
Double
But
check.
there's no way to just avoid that.
No,
Okay.
there's not.
Okay.
So you said this is Fanny. So now you would have to go here under perspective and you would have
Yes.
to drop them or decline them. And
Yes.
that'll initiate. But no,
Okay.
there's no way to do that. The only way you could do it is the only thing you could do is hide your join button, and somebody would have to contact you in order to join, and then
Oh
you
no.
would share the link.
Yeah, we don't want to do that. Okay, and what about is there a way to make the email address mandatory when
Yes,
people sign up?
yes.
I think
So,
I went in to try to change that, but I don't know if I did.
okay, so that would be under the people control panel, people tab, people options,
Hmm.
and let's see.
I might have changed it myself, but I don't know if I did.
Warn if email address is blank. Yes. Require an email address for members. Yes.
Okay. Okay, because somehow we have a lot of like we're now trying to go through and have people update. And then because I wasn't here in the beginning
Yeah.
when the
And then,
chap
sorry, just one more thing.
Mhm.
Now up here under secondary members, what you want to do, you have this correct, email address is required, but you probably want to capture detailed info.
Okay.
Otherwise, they don't have to put the company name.
Oh,
They're not
yes,
going to ask
please.
the company name. So
Yes.
detailed info and then email address is required is the way to go when you have for your group, definitely. Not
Okay.
capturing the detailed info would be more like for family members, for group, for organizations that have secondary members that are like family. But for
Okay.
your group, you definitely want to capture that.
And then so the primary and secondary. So during renewal, there's like issues when I guess if the primary pays, it's showing that the other members are paid, but they're not. Like, is there a reason that we need to have the primary and the secondary for agents, like agencies, or can they all just be primary to avoid like when someone leaves,
Yeah,
that
you
they're still not being charged? Or is there a reason? Because I wasn't here during the initial setup for this chapter. I wasn't a part of the membership committee, so I just wanted to understand the reason for the primary and secondary, and is it does it have to be that way?
And I can jump in here, Yvonne, just to basically explain it. The concept behind it is that there's one person in an agency that is responsible for the membership of all the others within that agency. So that's the primary member, that one person, and then all the secondary members. So they renew and they pay for. If you have all of your members as primary, then they are responsible for their own memberships and they're responsible for paying for their own memberships. So that's really the distinction. And then each chapter decided within the setup how they wanted to set their site up based on that.
Okay, because for us, it's been causing during membership, I guess, I don't know if everybody else, but there's been like high turnover, and then it just it's like a little bit of confusion, and then you have some agencies where they want this individual invoice for each person versus that one. I don't know why, but again, that's what they wanted, where they want the individual invoice for each person, but when it's set up as that primary and secondary, the invoices don't come like that. So I was just wondering, so that is our choice and how we want to do that, correct?
Yes, but
Okay.
And Yvonne can certainly show you there are ways to change it, right? So if it's something you don't want any longer, or perhaps it's just one agency you don't want it for any longer, there are ways to change it, right? So, and I
Yeah,
know
I do know how to change it. I do know how to
okay.
change it. Yes.
Yeah, but certainly, yes, it was a decision when your chapter set up its site initially. There was a conversation about how you wanted to set that up and
Okay.
whether you wanted to use the agency membership type versus the just regular individual membership type. So,
And then, yeah, you have a lot of people that switch over. I mean, someone was at Miramar, now they're at Pembroke Pines, um, we had a strategic meeting, and I think um they may be wanting to go back to just primary. I just was supposed to get more information, and I just wanted to make sure I was clear. So,
And you could add another membership type. You could have an agency membership type. So right now, your regular membership is acting kind of like your agents, like other groups' agency, if I'm correct, Ronnie, where agency would have the secondary members. But some of the other groups that I've seen have agency and then they have individual, and maybe make it up to the actual agency whether or not they want to have one primary member who's in charge of renewing all of the people, and then others might want to have all of the people separate. So
okay.
you could do that and make it, break out another member type and let
Okay.
the actual organization decide what they want.
Okay. I like that idea.
actually, just even looking at this, this looks to me like this was set up on the basis of not having that primary secondary relationship because Michael, when he sets these up, he creates that agency membership.
Mhm.
So it looks like if you do have secondary memberships under this regular membership type, somebody went in there and then enabled that secondary member.
Yes,
So
they did that a couple when so I think this was our second year membership
yeah,
renewals. I think during the first
yeah,
renewal session, that's the way that they were doing it. Yes, so then it was Michael,
yeah,
and then
yeah,
I joined to help her, and
yeah.
we did do it that way, but I don't think that's really working out, at least not based on how renewals and emails that were sent this year. So I have been going in and breaking it back out.
Yeah,
Um,
because
but I
honestly, this
do like
isn't
that we can
really,
give the agency the choice, because there are a couple that it was no problem, but then there were quite a few where it was just made it a little
and
bit more complicated.
yeah, and this is actually probably not the recommended way to do it because maybe you have some individual, and I don't remember your member type, so I'm sorry, Yvonne
Mhm.
from the other screen, but Maybe you do have some regular individual members who are not member of an agency that want to join, and it doesn't look like there's an option, but it is an option for them to add secondary members, which you don't necessarily want, right? So if you have an agency membership solely, that is only for an agency, that's cleaner. Then somebody can choose to join as an agency, and versus you're not necessarily giving them that option right here. So
Okay.
it might be something you want to consider if you're changing your membership structure.
Okay. Thank you so much.
I don't
And
see any hands.
if you do decide to do that, just Ronnie, if there's somebody that's currently set up as a regular with secondary members and you decide that they want to be broken out into an individual membership, you're going to have to basically take your secondary members and promote them to primaries.
Primary, yes.
Right, which is done under the member options level changes. And if you decide to do that, I can, before, as you're working on it, we can make sure that everything is set up properly and done correctly.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Do we have any questions? I don't see any hands.
Ronnie, good morning. It's Jenny.
Hi, Jenny. Yep.
Good morning. And Yvonne, my question is more on the email that went out in the chapters in the loop, and it was about the mobile app. So I've activated it, but is that something that you guys are able to demo to see what capability or how we set up the channels?
Honestly, I've been having a hard time with the channels myself.
Okay.
I've been trying to set up a different group outside of NIGP on that, and it is confusing because I've added people to committees, and yet when we send and you have to go into your profile once the app is turned on. Let me see if I can pull over.
Yeah. I just turned ours on, but I couldn't go any further, I guess. I just paused because I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, you have to go to your profile, and then
Correct.
when it's turned on,
Yeah.
you'll see the mobile app, and you have to change your channel memberships and turn on what channels you want. But I have actually done this with this group and had a few people join the channels, and yet when we send notices, they're still not getting them. So I'm still playing around with this myself.
Okay.
And there are no
Good to know.
videos yet. There are no training videos on ClubExpress yet for this. It would be great if they do a training, but maybe by next week or by the next office hours, I'll know more.
Yeah, definitely.
Stay tuned, right? For sure. This is a work in progress, it sounds like. So thank you, Jenny, for bringing that up. Anyone else have any questions for Yvonne? Yvonne, we were going to cover, if you want to bring that issue up.
Yeah, so yesterday I met with Central Florida, and we talked about changing the registration for one of their events. They have an upcoming, excuse me, let's see, where are their events? They have an upcoming event, membership meeting, I believe it was this event. And one of their primaries had registered for the event and registered a secondary member, and each had paid $35. It was a $70 charge. The primary was no longer able to attend, so somebody else was going to be attending in their place. But there was no way to delete or to change the name on the registration for the primary and add a third person who was going to be attending using that $35 credit. So just real quickly, I wanted to just go over a couple of options within the website on that. If you go to the money tab and money options, you're going to see an option where right here, handling credits. And so the way that theirs was set up, only the member who earned the credit can use them. So if you canceled that registration for Joe Smith and Ann Smith going to this event. Joe Smith was the primary. If we just canceled the registration, the $70 credit was going to go into Joe Smith's account, the primary. But it wasn't. So when Ann Smith went to register, and the new person coming, Julie, there would be no credit for them to use. So the way that we handled it, and this just, just if something like this ever comes up and you can't remember what we did here, you can reach out to me. But the way that we handled it was we went to the event, and we canceled the initial registration. So this is March 28th. We canceled the original registration for Joe Smith, which left a credit in Joe Smith's account. And then what you do is down here, you choose member guest, another person in your membership, 2 people. So now when you go to register, you're not registering yourself. You're registering, I'll just put in any name here because I'm not going to finish it. And see, now it says, and imagine this says Joe Smith. This person is not attending, and that's the primary, but they're going to be registering 2 guests. And so now that $70 credit is sitting there. So when you get to the payment screen, there is going to be a $70 credit, even though the primary is not attending. But the primary has that $70 credit, if that makes sense to everybody.
I'm thinking this is something that probably does come up frequently for people. I don't know. And that's probably an important thing to, or whatever, to get out to people, because it would seem to me that might be something of use, but
yeah,
you guys.
Another option, and that's only if you have this set to handling credits. Credits are used by the member who earned them. If you change that to credits are shared by all members in the same account, then if the primary registered and the primary paid and the primary cancels, any secondary would still be able to use that credit. So that's up to you whether or not you want to change that setting there. And
Jenny, did you have your hand up? So sorry.
I think Yvonne just kind of alluded to it. So that's good. It's really the way we set it up. So for that scenario, whoever it was that could not attend could easily share their credit to another member, but it's all about what's in the back end.
Right.
Okay. I will definitely share that with the team, because that definitely does happen. And we don't want to lose, or if they say no, we want to keep that credit. Now, if there is a credit, does that person, do we notify them that they do indeed have a credit pending in their account?
No, if there's a credit, if you go to the money tab, you can see if anybody has credits. Money tab, open credits, and it'll list all of the open credits here. And if there is a credit, if it's like an event credit, when they go to register for their next event, it's going to automatically, if the cost is $100 and their credit is $35, it's going to reduce the $100 down to $65, and then they just have to pay the $65. It's going to automatically apply that credit on the payment screen.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
And they can also go into their profile, but as an admin, I don't have a profile. But let's see if I go to any profile here. They can also go into their profile and look under payment and credit history. And if they had a credit, it would be listed here.
You have your hand up?
Yeah, so on a related question then, we have an upcoming social event, and I've not done this before with ClubExpress. So this is going to be a pass-through occasion where we're asking them to register, make a payment, and then we would pay that third party for the event. So it's basically for a Mariners game. I don't have the event set up yet, but how do we normally set that up properly, Yvonne, in the back end, where we're just collecting it? It's not for an event they need to register online or anything. It's literally sign up for an event and pay?
Well, you can create the event and still have them register for the event and pay you. You're saying that you're going to be accepting the money from them and then you're taking that money and you're paying for a social event, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So you could create it as a social event, and they register and they pay. Or if you want to do an RSVP, maybe you don't know what the fee is going to be yet. You could just do it create it as an RSVP event, and then I don't know how many people. If it's if it's a smaller amount of people, let's say it's only 10 people or 20 people going, then and you're not sure, you can set it up as an RSVP, and then you can add an additional charge to their account by going. So now you have the list of 10 people, and you know that you need to collect $250 from each of them. You could you can find them in here and go to this little icon here for the charge, and you can add a charge to their account for the amount that they need to pay. And then they can pay through, they'll get that'll generate an email to them with a link to pay. They'll log in, they'll pay that amount.
I like that. That's actually kind of cool. All
Yeah,
right.
if you do that, then you'll see that like if you're going to charge them miscellaneous charge right here, you've got renewal, new member fee. And then here's the master account. So it would be an event registration, but you may want to add a miscellaneous charge category that is for Mariners game, or maybe you don't want to have to do this and rename an account or a charge type every single time you have a social outing. So maybe you just have social event or something, and that is done. Those are added under additional charges right here. So you would just add your category. And if it's always going to be the same amount, then you're going to do that. But if it's going to be different amounts, then you wouldn't do social. And actually you could leave the amount blank and you can override that amount.
Okay. Got it. Yeah. Nope. Definitely going to do that. I think I like that better.
And actually I have, I was, just in case if something like this came up, it's kind of funny that it did. I'm just going to process one real quick for you here. So I have a miscellaneous account here where somebody mailed a check for this person, for this group. And I'm just going to show you how, but I want to make sure that they know that, or that there's evidence of their payment, for example, in this, in this account. So I'm going to go into this person's account, and right here, I'm going to add a charge, and it is for what they call, ILAP initial, and it automatically put in $35. And I have a account under the financial accounts called ILAP fees, and I'm going to save that. And now that dollar sign appears, the green dollar sign, but they mailed a check. So I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to say that I received a check, and I'm going to put in check number. And that's how you would record the payment.
I love it. That's great. Thank you for showing that.
Any other questions? Anything, something that perhaps you'd like Yvonne to show you? So sorry, go on, Jenny.
Yeah. So if it's not a check that they're sending, they can still do the Stripe fee or the Stripe credit card, right? Okay. Just double check. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't see any hands. I don't see anything in chat. I'm going to repeat what I had said earlier in the meeting for those who may not have been on the call. If you have not scheduled your training session for your chapter, this is mostly just a reminder. These are 1 hour free training sessions with Yvonne. And it can be for those who are new to administering your website, or it can be for those that are more experienced. It's really up to you. Generally, it's for your chapter admins in total, because we have heard that there is interest, whether it's your board or whether it's admins from your chapter, but we are offering this through June. So if you haven't, we do have some chapters that have, but if you haven't, just reach out to me and let me know, and I will send you the reservation link for you to set that up. So Other than that, I guess we don't have any more questions, which is really the purpose of office hours. So I thank Yvonne. And we will be doing this again the second Tuesday in April. And so appreciate you all for attending. And we will see you hopefully on the second Tuesday in April. Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Yvonne, I have a quick question.
Thank you.
Yvonne,
Looks like there's a
Just-
question, Yvonne.
yeah, just a quick question. Where can I get, find the recording? How do I access the recording?
Oh, it's
Oh, I think they might have hopped off already, but
that's okay. This is Jenny. The recordings are actually on YouTube. I would
Uh-huh.
probably give it a day. Ronnie would normally put it on the YouTube for NIGP. If you
Okay.
want, I mean, once we hang up here, I can look up that actual direct link to it, and I could post it
Uh-huh.
in the chat. And then you'll see
Okay.
all of the recording, but give her probably a day to get that going.
Okay, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks, guys.
Okay.
Bye.
All right, bye.
Bye.